All right, welcome back, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, to Bears World Podcast. Again, we have a good host with me, a good friend, good man. He's been on the podcast multiple times before, and he's here to stay. We are doing this on Super Bowl Sunday. Um, so, Mr. Noah, what do you think?
Hello. How's it going? Thanks for having me back on, man.
I'm
It's
glad to have you.
what's it like my fifth time on, I think.
Yeah, it's up there, bro. Climbing, you're definitely the number one guest who's been on it.
Yeah, it's always good fun, good conversations, man. And you got to support your boy.
Hey,
So I'm
amen to
always
that.
here.
It's always good to have someone supporting you.
Absolutely, dude.
And as it being Super Bowl Sunday, I did want to kind of kick this off with like some interesting Super Bowl facts. I was just looking online, and one of the most interesting things I kind of did see real quick when I was just doing this is that like the NFL halftime bands and artists that were performing at the halftime show never get paid. Like Queen Bee, everyone else, all the people up there don't get paid.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Well, I guess it's good publicity, like, 'cause they go on there and everybody's watching, so.
That's basically what the article was saying. It was like you would think that they would pay big for a gig like this, but it's basically just for the damn. It said Queen Bee fucking her. Oh my god, her Spotify streams went up 230% after her 2020 halftime show. Or no, Shakira's went up that.
Everyone's watching, bro. And I think this year's halftime show is, what is it? Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and
Here, let
one
me
rapper.
look it
I
up.
forget who.
Let me see
I
what
think
we
it's
got
Mary
going
J.
on here.
Blige, maybe. She's not really a rapper, though, I don't think.
Let's see. Halftime show starts at 6:30 p.m. So about a little under an hour from right now of recording. The halftime show commences shortly after the quarter end, so be about 8:30. It would start. Who's gonna be in it? Let's see. I think you're probably right. I did see Snoop Dogg in the top, but Snoop Dogg, dude, he's been in everything. That's just
He's in everything, bro. You'll just be watching a random ass movie, and then all of a sudden Snoop Dogg pops up.
yeah, dude. He's in like Bollywood shit. He's in like Russian shit. He's in literally everything.
Yeah, and he's super recognizable. So you see him in like a movie, even if he's playing a character, you're just like, that's Snoop Dogg. The whole time you're seeing him, you're like, that's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, you know.
What was the movie? What was the movie we watched? He was in. It was Dolomite, right?
I think it was, yeah.
He was like running a local record store.
Yeah, it was Dolomite. Yeah, with fucking Eddie
He was on the
Murphy.
radio, and Dolomite tried to get him to play his stuff.
Yeah, it was the remake of the original Dolomite with Eddie Murphy and Snoop Dogg, and it was pretty funny. But you're right. It's Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and the rest of the performers. It says so. They
Oh, so
got
there's gonna be more than that.
Dr. Dre. Yeah. Who
I
else?
heard
Let's see.
Eminem and Eminem's in there.
Yeah, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar.
Well, if Eminem's in there, he better be playing the classics because his new shit's been garbage for years now, and it hasn't been good. But Eminem still has classics. If you go back to like the early 2000s, he's got some bangers. But I can't even name one song from like his last three albums that were good. So hopefully he's not in there playing Venom.
Venom, Venom.
Yeah.
You guys, I know so funny. The Venom movie came out, and you and Tristan were just making fun of it day one, and then same thing with like the awfully hot coffee pot, like making fun of that shit day one, and then it just became
Yeah,
a big
everyone was making
meme.
fun of that though. That shit was weird.
But another interesting fact of the Super Bowl is 12 NFL teams have never even won the Super Bowl, and four have never even been to a Super Bowl.
Ooh.
So this will be the third appearance and chance to get themselves off that list. The Cincinnati Bengals is never won the Super Bowl, but this is their third chance.
I was
The
about to say I think the Bengals never won it before.
Yeah, no, the four teams that have never even been to a Super Bowl are the Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Detroit Lions, and then the Cleveland Browns. Never been to
Well,
a Super Bowl.
the Browns have never been to the Super Bowl, but I'm pretty sure they've won American football leagues
The
like
AFC,
way back in like the 50s and 60s.
yeah, AFC winners.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. I was about to say the teams that you're listing are like newer teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans, but the Cleveland Browns and who are the other ones? The Detroit Lions. They've been around for a while and they've never been there. But the
Yeah, it's
Cleveland Browns and the
crazy.
Detroit Lions, they're like historically bad. They're like the worst run organizations probably ever in the NFL. But I know Detroit's had some good years when they had Stafford and Calvin Johnson, who was a wide receiver who's retired now. And actually Stafford, he's on the Rams if you didn't know. He's on the team that's playing tonight.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I'm not like the biggest football person.
Yeah.
I know you got me into basketball a little bit, and we definitely know a lot. I know a lot more about soccer than any other sport. That was my thing back in the day. But with you here, you know a little bit more about the American sport that I should be more proud of, but it's not really
Yeah,
in my
well,
sights.
I used to love NFL. My favorite sports were basketball and American football for a long, long time. And I don't know, somewhere around like 2013, I just couldn't watch them anymore because there's like a fucking flag every other minute. First of all, second of all, there's ads. It's a 2 hour game, but then you have 2.5 hours worth of ads, and it's like there's more ads than games when you're watching the fucking game. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
That's another thing,
Uh,
bro. Like the Super Bowl ads are like always like one of the biggest things that people look forward to, even if you never really
yeah,
care for the sport itself. The ads are always what
yeah,
get people's attention.
yeah. And you gotta pay stupid fucking money to get a Super Bowl ad.
Fat money.
Yeah, a lot of money. But I started. I don't know. I used to like. It's weird because basketball and football were like my favorite, and those are like the two main sports I watched. And I used to hate on soccer even though I never watched it. And then I started watching soccer. I'm like, bro, this shit's way more entertaining than American football, in my opinion. I like soccer a lot more nowadays. But I still watch the big games, and occasionally I'll watch the regular season. But I really cut off the regular season, and I'll watch 2 or 3 playoff matches this year. And of course, I'll watch the Super Bowl every year just because it's big
The Super
entertainment.
Bowl.
It's like, what else are you gonna fucking watch on the day? You know what I
I
mean?
mean, kind of like how people who don't really even watch soccer, they'll kind of tune in for like the final of the World Cup,
Yeah, World Cup
And there's
final.
like
Yeah.
the people who kind of tune in with the Olympics as well, which
Hmm.
is going on currently right now in China at the moment. The United States had a very slow start. I think we're up to like 5, 6 gold medals at the moment. I know Sean White. This is the last Olympic that he was going to. Because it
Yeah.
is the Winter Olympics, and unfortunately, I think he got fourth place and wasn't able to land himself a piece of metal to bite.
Yeah, well, I haven't really watched any of the Olympics because
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not like the Winter Olympics. I feel like it's very linear. Like there's only like 8 competitions, 10 competitions, and they're all related. Like there's snowboard, skiing,
I heard that they added like a
a
new
different
one
form of
this
skiing,
year.
and then there's a different form of snowboard, and then there's ice skating, and then there's hockey, and then there's a couple other things. But it's like all super related. But then you go to the Summer Olympics, and there's like 50 different fucking games going on. So I like the Summer Olympics more, but
I mean, I think
never really paid attention.
I feel like generally most people do like the Summer Olympics more. It's more interesting. It's more at pace. It's obviously in the hotter weather. We could do more stuff. That's not just kind of inclined to either like bobsledding or skiing or snowboarding. I mean, that's like the three main things you can really do. Obviously, ice skating as well,
Yeah, there's no
shuffleboarding, some
snow.
other shit. So let's see. They added some new events that were added this year. It's the free ski big air. Ski Big Air will make its Olympic debut in Beijing with medal events eligible for men and women. It's the snowboard Big Air to the Olympic stage. Free ski Big Air has been a popular competition at the Winter X Games. Basically, I guess it's basically just like it's like those like those giant ass like snow half pipes you kind of just fucking do freestyles
Yeah,
off.
yeah, that's kind of cool. But I know what's the game where you like throw something like you not roll it, but you throw it and
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like the
gliding across the ice and you gotta like scrape it with a broom.
yeah that one's kind of interesting honestly.
Yeah, I actually watched that before and it wasn't that bad surprisingly, but
You're like, what the fuck
no,
is this shit? Because you only see it like once every couple of years. Like, if it was on like a daily thing, it just wouldn't survive. But since it's like an Olympic sport, like, like, where do you like? Is that just because like is that like a northern thing where you just have snow? Like, how do you even get into something like that where you just want
yeah,
to like?
I'd assume you're somewhere in the world where there's lots of ice, and when there's lots of ice, you naturally look at this. Maybe you watch or Winter Olympics, and you get interested in the sport because I mean you can. There's so many sports, and there's always like a decent amount of people depending on the sport. You gotta assume they just picked it up naturally at some point and they fell in love with it. Same with people who play basketball, football, soccer, all these main sports.
Yeah,
You got like we like watching like pool table competitions and shit like
yeah.
that. People pick that up, so you know.
That's true. They actually added quite a bit of new, like was not programs or new, what was it called, new events, mixed team ski jumping. You got mixed team short track relay, mixed team aerials, mixed team snowboard cross, and then the women's monobob. So basically just single or bobsledding, I'm assuming. But there's like
Interesting.
quite a bit. And before we go too far, I just want to say these other two like quick Super Bowl facts. The first Super Bowl team, or the first team to ever win the Super Bowl, were the Green Bay Packers, and Super Bowl is the second highest eating day for Americans behind Thanksgiving.
Damn, is that at Christmas too?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
That's kind of surprising.
it's the
I guess it
American.
makes sense though. You get so many. You get. I mean, it's pretty much an event. Like not really. I wouldn't call it a holiday. You have a bunch of people gather around. You all get fucking food. So I guess that makes sense. And I know I saw something that was like prices for a Super Bowl food is like I think it's like you're gonna be spending like 20 something more dollars depending like for 20 people or 10 people. I guess it's not that bad, but it's like more expensive now. But I did want to say, did you see one of the Olympic games? It was like the big ramp. It was literally on a fucking nuclear power plant,
Oh
bro, in
yeah, I
China,
did see that.
and it's like this big ass fucking plant. And then they just got the fucking Beijing 2022 stamped on it, bro. And it's like fucking crazy. You would think it's like they'll just have a natural snowy area, but
No, they gotta build that shit.
yeah,
They gotta get jobs for their workers through creating an artificial snow slope.
yeah. Isn't it kind of fucked that China gets the Olympics and then Qatar gets the World Cup?
Hey, yeah, you remember that thing I was telling you about with the Uyghurs? You know how it's kind of like they're comparing it to um like back in the day. I can't remember whatever year the Olympics were held in Germany during like Hitler's time, and
Yeah, in
that
the
they
30s.
used like a Jew to light the the torchlight.
Mm-hmm.
And this year in Beijing, China, they use a Uyghur Muslim to light the torchlight this year, and it was kind of like really weird and similar because like both kind of genocidally killing off the race that they used to light the torch and signification of their country. It's a little odd, and I
Yeah,
can
it's
see the
fucked up.
comparisons.
It's fucked up, but that's like them. I guess that's them kind of being like, we're doing what we want and no one's gonna stop us. No one's even tried to stop us, right? Because I guess the only thing I've seen about the Chinese having the Olympics is that the U.S. didn't send any ambassadors over there from the politics side of things. Obviously, we still had our athletes go over there and represent. And I think maybe some athletes called out from all over the world, but for the most
Maybe
part, everybody's just gone there.
yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
just
they
a
haven't really
few.
said nothing about it, and they can't say anything about it. If you think about it,
Yeah, they told them
they're
not to say like our government, like United States, was like strictly saying like do not say anything outside of what's necessary, nothing political,
yeah.
etc.
And why is that? Why wouldn't an American be able to go over there and talk shit?
Because it's not their country.
We should have some type of fucking I wouldn't say fear, like, but we should have some type of respect around the world globally to where China knows if you take an American because they try to say something, you're gonna get fucking ramifications. It's like back in the '80s, they had like a hostage crisis, and Ronald Reagan was basically like, "You're gonna give us the people back, or there's gonna be fucking hell to pay." You know what I mean? But I get it. I guess you don't want to cause any unnecessary problems over there in China.
Yeah,
But and I guess you're like, if you're going over there already and you're like willing to fucking forget all that shit just to participate in the games, then it's like, why would you say anything anyways?
but
And
I mean,
You know that the Chinese government is monitoring
oh,
everybody
100%.
and all the athletes and watching everybody's step and making sure they're saying the right things and doing the right things, not saying the wrong things, and like I bet they're even monitoring their phones and their communication and things like that. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I've been seeing like reports of athletes getting like the exact same meal 3 times a day, and it's just like some plain garbage shit. And one of the athletes like posted it or something.
do they get in trouble for posting it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I didn't look too far into it, but I did just look up the game medals, and right now Norway is in first place with the amount of medals, with the most gold, tied with silver amount of medals, with the next two, Germany and United States, at 5. But Austria actually is Austria and France have more silver medals. United States has 1 bronze medal. We have 12 in total: 6 gold, 5 silver, 1 bronze.
You know
Germany is
that
in
makes
second
that
with
makes sense that Norway's number one because they got. I mean, obviously there's snow land out the wazoo. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's basically it's in their blood. So,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
so yeah, there's one woman in Norway has 3 gold medals and 1 bronze medal already for fucking
Jesus Christ.
Norway. Yeah, and then this French dude has 2 silver, 2 gold. Filon Mayet,
Yeah.
and then the
Uh,
woman's name is Olsbu Roisland.
I also saw that there was a Russian competitor for ice skating.
The
She got
15-year old that got caught.
caught using steroids, and it doesn't even surprise me that she's Russian because there's been scandals multiple times in the Olympics for the Russians using steroids. And I remember back in the 2018 World Cup, right? You remember Russia got to like the quarterfinals, and it was like a big upset. I saw a stat where they outran the next best team, like in terms of kilometers covered, by like almost double, dude. And I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
surprised they got caught because FIFA's like pretty corrupt and they probably
yeah.
don't give a fuck to be honest.
But it's like there was that one documentary, Icarus or something. I think it's about the Russians cheating in like the 2016 Olympics or some shit. I don't remember.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it was something like that. I haven't actually seen that documentary. I heard it's
yeah,
pretty
and
good.
we need to watch it.
I'm
But
definitely gonna watch it.
yeah, it's basically for who's listening. It's a documentary about like how the Russians were doping up all their athletes. And the funny thing is though that in like the times I've heard Joe Rogan talk about this, and the guy who came onto his podcast and was talking about um, his fucking movie he made, the documentary about this, it was that they didn't end up doping this figure skaters because it would actually make them less, like, more stiff and not as agile. It would kind of mess them up. So it's interesting that they would have some kind of, but this was more of like, I think, an arithmetic drug. It's supposed to be for like the heart.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to see if I can find out what the issue is, but it does say that she was tested positive for a drug that was banned
Yeah, so
heart medication.
I'm assuming she got her gold medal real dope, right?
I
Because
don't know yet. I'm still looking at this thing. She won gold medal in the event 5 days ago before the test result was known, and is scheduled to compete as an individual Tuesday or on Saturday. Oh, wait,
she's
on
still gonna be
Tuesday.
allowed to compete. That's fucking weird.
Wait, hold on. She fell during a triple axel, a jump she typically executes without a problem. But so for the heart medication she was apparently taking was called trimetazidine. It's Trimetazidine. Um, Apparently it's supposed to be like a heart medication for people who have like heart pains or some shit. And I was like, I think I heard from like someone on Joe Rogan's podcast again. I get a lot of my information from Joe Rogan's podcast, if you don't know. But it was like a doctor or something, or maybe a tweet I saw somewhere of like a doctor saying that
Hey,
like
that's not good.
you shouldn't be taking like some heart medication like that at a young ass age like that.
Yeah, well, maybe she has something that's hereditary, but that's not good. You get your news from Joe Rogan, man. He's always spreading misinformation.
Oh yeah, and just like how they had a misscheduling with Joe Rogan on this last fight card that happened yesterday, the
Yeah,
Saturday before Super Bowl Sunday, which is today. Bears World Podcast recording. If you like it so far, go comment, like, and subscribe. Share this shit. Let everyone know if you like it.
yes, yes,
Tell
sir.
us what's up. But
No, but what do you think about the Joe Rogan shit with the Spotify that's going on? Like they're trying to get him off it and shit like that.
Well, Spotify is kind of like giving like an inch here and there. They clearly already put like advisory warnings on some of his podcasts where they talked about getting the COVID misinformation. He like is controversial opinions to what is like the mainstream media's views on what is going on. And with all the credentialed doctors he has on, though, it like doesn't matter to them. And he even had people like on their side with Dr. Gupta, the CNN like medical director or whatever his position is over there. He's like the medical expert for
Yeah.
CNN.
I just don't see. I don't really see what the issue is. Okay, with Joe Rogan having people on, and obviously he's gonna have his own opinions and his own tilt on things, but it's like he has people on that are certified doctors. I know one of the times he had someone who literally invented the mRNA vaccine,
Robert
and he
Malone.
had some questions about the COVID vaccine. Okay, he had some issues with it. The guy who made the mRNA. Okay,
Well,
and
it's
then Joe, and the thing with Joe Rogan is I feel like he just goes on there, and even if he has his own opinions and he says certain things, he goes on there and asks people. Okay, because I know for a fact that whenever he has someone on, say for instance, he has someone on who wrote a book. Okay, and it's a climate change book, for example. He's gonna read the book, and then he's gonna asking a guy to expand on certain things that he found interesting, and then he's gonna ask questions on the opposite end of the narrative. You know what I mean? It's like writing an essay for school. Okay, you write an essay, you're analyzing something, and you write what they said, what your opinion on it is, and what's the counterpoint of the opinion. You know what I mean? Or if you're giving an opinion piece, you try to address the opposing side's thoughts on it. It's like basic shit you learn in fucking middle school. But then Joe Rogan does it, and it's like seen as a bad thing. It's like he's not supposed to be a yes man. The whole point is to have an open format interview where you can ask a bunch of questions.
but
You know what I
that's
mean?
that's not what the government and the news media want you to do. Because if you're having
I think what
conversations
the
and like trying to like question shit, and then other people start realizing and start questioning shit as well, or start
it's not
looking,
even him questioning
yeah,
shit.
not
It's just
even
him trying to
questioning,
find
just
the truth.
making up
It's
their
like
own mind without just looking at one source and just being like, yep, that's it. I mean, I
you
say I
know, I
get a
think
lot of
it's
my. Go ahead.
I think the issue is with the people that are trying to get rid of him. Because let's be real here, he's not going anywhere. The
You
people
know,
who follow and support him are gonna watch him no matter what.
loyal.
I guess it's the mainstream media say, right? But it's just people in general who disagree with what he's saying. But at the end of the day, all he's doing is fucking asking questions. And if people end up having an opinion that's like contradictory to the mainstream media and the mainstream narrative, that's fine. But I think what the issue is he has such a big platform now, and he has no one like guiding him.
He
You
has
know what
no
I
one
mean?
above him that can
There's
directly
no
just
one
fire or
guiding
shut
him
him
and
down.
yeah, and trying to lead him a certain way. You know what I mean? When you look at places like CNN or MSNBC, which a lot of people get their news from, which is fine. That's fine and that's okay. But they get funded by organizations. They get funded by businesses, and if it's a lot of money, those businesses are going to have a say on what's put on those news channels. You know what I mean? For instance, before this whole
They're
COVID
gonna have
thing,
an influence, yes.
they have an influence. Exactly. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. If they, before this COVID shit, all you have to do is look it up. So many of these news organizations were heavily funded by Pfizer. You know what I mean?
Sponsored
And
by Pfizer.
sponsored by
Sponsored by
Pfizer. I
Pfizer.
think most people have seen that video.
Yeah, the clip of like 70 fucking different things sponsored by Pfizer across all of
Yeah.
American television.
So, and Pfizer, by the way, has made fucking bank.
Billions.
$24 billion in 2021 off COVID vaccines alone. Okay. So I think it's all right. The whole point of the freedom of speech, Amendment 1, is that you can question shit and you got to find the truth. You know what I mean? You got to know what the fuck's going on in the world. You can't just be told what to say. That's the issue we had with fucking every fucking dictator in history is that they're controlling the propaganda and the propaganda state funded. You know what I mean? And now you look at it, we have our intelligence agencies or our government, whatever you want to call it. They coordinate with news channels all the time and
Oh,
they like push
100%.
out narratives. It's like that's what we're supposed to be against. Journalists are supposed to be independent, uninfluenced by outside people. You know what I mean? Now it's too easy to influence, and I think that's the issue with Joe Rogan, is that he has the fucking bag. He's a fucking multi millionaire, He's not getting funded by anybody in the political world, in the medical world. So
He
I
has no
think that's the
incentive to
biggest
like
thing.
really tell a different narrative than other what he like truly believes, and that gives him the free ability to really think on his own and form his own opinion by hearing all these different people come into with different experiences, knowledge,
Yeah.
and
And he can have he can have whoever he wants on. It's like whoever he finds interesting, he can
yeah, no
have
one
on.
can tell him no. And
Yeah.
like you said earlier, you can't get rid of him at this point because he's so big and he has such
Get
a
rid.
loyal fan base, and he's
Uh huh.
such a genuine person. Like even though yeah, he had that like clip of the N word being dropped like multiple times on his podcast and some other shit. It was like,
Right.
yeah, he apologized for it, kind of. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't say that as a white guy, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like the shit in the past. He said a couple years ago he like realized he shouldn't say that, and obviously like the group that actually like pulled that up and like tried to get him banned was like a left wing organization of these three brothers that try to constantly get a bunch of right wing people. Like I'm not political. I have no part. I don't really
Midas Touch. That's the name of their organization. Midas Touch. The three brothers.
Midas touch.
Yeah, and
If you want to touch on that as well.
yeah, for the most part, from the clips I saw, it was him saying someone else was saying that. You know what I mean? It's like then he called him a. You know what I mean? He was just relaying what was said. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw a clip or two where it's like, dude, that's pretty fucking racist. You know what I mean? The Planet of the Apes
Oh
one is
yeah.
fucking. The Planet of the Apes one is fucked.
But at the same
And
time, they didn't play the whole clip, and then immediately right after saying it in the podcast, he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, that
I
was
didn't see.
fucked
That's what I'm
up.
saying. I didn't see that part.
It was
I
fucked
didn't
up,
even see
bro."
that part.
He's like, I shouldn't have said that. That was fucked. And then that's the thing that like the people on the like mainly on the left that I see typically do. They do happen on the right, both sides. It's mainly like all these issues like canceling and blackmailing and discriminating is mainly coming from the left and the left mainstream like news media like CNN, MSNBC, all that shit.
What I don't get
And they're
is
wait,
I
let me
feel
hold
like
on, let me finish. They're
oh
just misconstruing the point of like putting shit out of context, and that was Joe Rogan's like biggest point was that he said context does matter, and he wasn't he said like the one about the Planet of the Apes one was a little racist, yeah. But the other ones, if you kind of like got the full clip of it and actually saw like the whole context, yeah, it's still a bad word, shouldn't be said, but
mm-hmm,
context does matter in a lot of situations, and so does intent in a lot of situations. And what the media is doing is clearly they're what they're doing is showing you like multiple quick snap, like he's just saying the one word without getting any of context what's going on, and they're able to like use that to construe the narrative because a lot of people don't have time to go around looking at all the shit and all the news, read all the different sources and make up their mind. So they find something that someone they know that's the same political spectrum usually, or like someone that they trust or is a good friend is like, yeah, this is a good trusted source, and they just kind of see that and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. And
yeah. Well, I'll just say that I listen to Joe Rogan, but it's not like not as much like as you. I would say you listen to
yeah,
Joe Rogan a lot. I honestly haven't listened to Joe Rogan in a while. I think the last time I listened to him was when he had Jordan Peterson on, and I listened to the Sanjay Gupta one because that's I found that one to be interesting because it's someone on the complete opposite side of what they're saying Joe Rogan is saying. So it was like a good clash of heads, and it was a good a good conversation. But I just want to say two things about it. It's like originally they went after him because he was spreading COVID misinformation. Okay, he was spreading COVID
supposedly.
misinformation, but then it deteriorates the clips of him saying the N word, and like it's obvious that they're just trying to get rid of him. It's not,
They're just trying to smear his name and make him look
yeah,
bad by doing the typical he's a racist, he's a
yeah,
homophobic, transphobic, this that.
yeah. And the second one is like, if you think he's racist and you think he's a bad person, just don't listen to him, don't watch him. You know what I mean? The whole point of freedom of speech is to get the bad ideas out. So if this guy if he's really saying shit that's not good and not healthy, then people would be against him. You know what I mean? If people find what he says uh, good and is good information, and they feel like they're learning a lot of things, which obviously that's what people say, regardless of what you think about him, regardless of what you like, if you think he's stupid or he's spreading misinformation, or you know what I mean, he's fucking making shit up as he goes. It doesn't matter. People listen to him and find him entertaining and informative.
and
So
and
you don't get rid of him.
just being like a fan myself, uh I like he says multiple times throughout a bunch of his different podcasts. He's like all the people. He's like, I have thousands and thousands of hours of me talking. He's like, you know who I am through my podcast. He's like, you can clearly tell what type of person I am through the way I've talked. And like, I mean, it does show like you have thousands of hours of this person, and you're gonna take a minute and a half clip of like 7 different times of him saying the N word, or and then like
Yeah.
30 seconds of it was him just doing that one joke about the Planet of the Apes. Not that I'm defending him. Not that I'm defending him. Wasn't right. Shouldn't have been done. I think the way he did it was the right way, and both the apologies, not necessarily quasi apologies to everyone before, like even just the misinformation shit, where he was saying, I guess I'll try to get more people on the mainstream media's like side of view and point of view. He's like,
Right.
basically, I already had it even with Dr. Malone, and um, he had Dr. Gupta on from both different sides. One, Malone's being the mRNA patent like creator, one of those. He's something like close like that. He's really up there with the mRNA. It's very registered, and like I said earlier, Gupta is the CNN. He also had Peterson on, that Jordan Peterson, who was controversial for him. I can't remember who the other person he said that was on the left side that he had on recently that he compared it to.
Yeah. Well,
But
I just know in general, just from the episodes I know, he's had Bernie Sanders on there. He's had Tulsi Gabbard on there. He's had Dan Crenshaw on there. I mean, these are people with completely different views. I feel like he just has people he finds interesting on, and it really just depends on how you like getting your news at the end of the day. Because you can watch a mainstream news organization that has a bunch of researchers, a bunch of people behind the scenes. Is very professional and organized, and they got teleprompters, they have set news pieces, they have time crunches, they have time limits on certain segments.
that doesn't
Or
mean
you
their
can just,
information is not real.
of course, but I'm just saying it depends on how you like getting your news. You can
Yeah.
watch it like that, or if you want to watch something, I guess mom and pop would be the term. It's like less organized, just more natural, just kind of, you know what I mean? People
He's
kind
just
of
being a
figure out,
genuine person, and people who like listen to the show can like tell like what kind of person he is through like
yeah,
all the words. And like you said, he has a wide range of people on, from every
yeah,
color, race, ethnicity, religion, ideology, conspiracy theory, like
yeah.
historical theory, Atlantis theory. Like he doesn't care who you
No,
are if you're interesting. Like he's just being a genuine person. Like, you know, like what happened to human like curiosity, where you could just
yeah.
be want to talk to people, and now it's, if you don't think the same thing I do, you're my enemy, and we should fight to the death.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like already in general, not even Joe Rogan fans, just people in general throughout the country. If you can look up the polls, 60 to 70% of people don't trust the mainstream media, so they're going to other outlets to find their news information. There's people like Joe Rogan, sure. There's people like Jimmy Dore, who's like a progressive. He's a Democrat. He's like, he's doing his own thing. It's like a YouTube setup. It's kind of like Joe Rogan's setup. There's people like Kyle Kalinske, who's also on the left. He does his own thing. There's people like Steven Crowder, who's on the right. He does his own show. He does his own thing. And guess what? All three of those people, completely different view sets, but guess what? They've all been on Joe Rogan. Okay, and they've all been interviewed by Joe Rogan. And he sits them down and he has a 2 hour discussion and just asks them questions, man. So,
And
and
you
either way, like we said at the start, it's like Joe Rogan's not going to go anywhere. Even if Spotify told him to fuck off, he
even
has $100 million offer from Rumble, or he
yeah,
can start his own, fucking website. You know what
even
I mean?
Spotify wouldn't want to do that in the first place because they're gonna have to pay out that $100 million
Mm-hmm.
off rip straight to him.
Yeah,
So in the end, Joe Rogan's not gonna lose. He's still gonna have his loyal fan base, and he has offers coming from other places. Now, taking the Rumble deal up right now probably wouldn't be a smart move. I think it would just stay with
I
Spotify
think it'd be
until
a
they
smart
con.
move.
I feel like
I
he
mean,
should stay
anything
with
would be a smart
Spotify
move.
until he like. I mean, he's definitely not gonna get kicked off Spotify. I don't think they're gonna get that far.
Yeah,
Like I said, he's not cancelable. Like he's just a genuine enough person. People like enough people know who he is. And there's obviously the lefties like where The Rock switched up on him and like commented on his first post about the misinformation COVID shit. And he was like, "Good stuff, brother," or something. And then the N word thing came out, and he's like, "Oh, I apologize. Didn't know. You know, we learned everything.
yeah.
All
Well, it's
this."
yeah. I mean, I don't think he really turned on him. It's just like he didn't. He said he didn't
He's
really know
just
about that stuff.
pleasing the left crowd, and I mean that's the thing. Is like you're just you. It's like they're so flip floppy. It's like everyone up there is just doing whatever the left says or whatever
Well,
whoever's
I'll
in
say
power, and they'll just do what they
yeah,
say, not necessarily left or right. I'm not just
yeah. Well, I'll just say it's like we can't just throw everyone in the same bracket. I think it's maybe 20 to 30% of leftists. You know what I mean? That probably think like that and probably want Joe Rogan to fucking get out of there and never be seen again.
yeah,
But
it's
it's
just the
just
minorities.
unrealistic and it's pointless and it causes more division when there's already so much fucking division going on.
That's the
It's
problem
like
when
just
you.
say let Joe Rogan do what he wants to do. If you don't want to watch him, don't watch him. Get your news wherever you want to get your news. Other people get their news wherever they want to get their news, and let it be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's just like, just like, do your own research, make your own opinion, man. Just, I know it sounds like I definitely would suck Joe Rogan's cock right now, but I mean, I wouldn't. I no, but no,
Thanks
stop
for
it.
clearing that up there.
And I had to make sure. But apparently, if you don't want to suck a penis, and if you're a straight white male, that's just you're not allowed to do that. So you're you're homophobic if you don't want to suck a dick. You're not allowed to be just straight anymore. But that's a different
Facts.
subject.
Real
Let's
talk.
get back to the Olympics. I just want to talk about. Did you see the shit about Peng Shui, the tennis star that was seen over there in the Olympics in China? The whole thing about her calling out the sexual assault allegations against one of the like CCP like military
Yeah,
personnel's,
yeah.
and she announced her retirement during the Olympic at that game. So I mean, at least we have confirmation she's alive, but um, they kind of disappeared her like they did.
Was it video? Was it video of her saying that?
I think so. I mean, I'm looking at her right now. I see a picture of her sitting down with a mask on. I mean, it's a pretty big mask, and all you can see is like eyes because she's got like a beanie on too, and it's like going down, so you can only really see. She's got like literally just like her eyes covered, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's really her. I mean, I've not really seen her too often. Another thing was this other. Did you hear about the? Was it, her name's Gu? I think she's the Chinese American that switched up and went to China, and she's playing for her home country.
Oh yeah, I did see
Lived
that.
in California her whole life, and then all of a sudden, like 2019, 2020 or some shit, I think she's like, I'm gonna play for China after getting all the training and all this other stuff over here. And I heard that like when she fell over, that the people started like cheering. Don't know if that's true. I mean,
Well,
if you want to do it, man, go support your country. But I mean, if you kind of see what your country's doing at this point, I mean, it's kind of disappointing to see, an American going back to like a communist country like that, and just trying to boost their athletic feats in the Winter Olympics of 2022. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, honestly, but it's kind of just a shame to see it happen.
well, you would assume the Chinese government probably offered her some type of deal where she's gonna be making a good amount of money for doing
Yeah.
that. But is that the same? Is that the same person where someone asked her, "Is like, how
Did
does
you
it feel
denounce
that you?"
your U.S. citizenship because China doesn't allow dual citizenship? So if she was gonna become a citizen of China to represent them in the Winter Olympics, she kind of like dodged the question in the interview. When I listened to it, she's kind of like, I like my country, I want to support them. He's like, well, did you denounce your U.S. citizenship to be able to become a Chinese citizen? And she kind of just deflected it. And I think another reporter went back into it like a little bit later, and she just kind of deflected it again and didn't really answer. So I don't really
Now,
know what's going on, but
was it the lady where someone was like, "How does it feel that you can use Instagram freely, but that's not allowed in China? You're not allowed to just get Instagram whenever you want." And then she was like, she said, uh, "Anybody can get a VPN or some shit like that." Was that
what?
the same person? Yeah, was that the same person? I don't know. Probably.
I don't know. That's the first I heard about that one. That's pretty funny.
No, yeah, I didn't. I don't. I didn't really hear about the girl who switched over, but I think it's the same person. I'm not sure. I didn't know the name for like that before just now. So
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. If you wanna go support your country, you can. But
I
with
mean,
the,
you said she was born and raised in America, right?
yeah, but I think her
So I
parents
guess
were Chinese.
yeah, I don't really. I guess America would be her country at that point, but whatever.
You'd think, but I mean, it just
It's like
depends on where you are, what kind of country, what you're thinking.
it's like Kamaru Usman, who was born and raised in fucking Nebraska. He doesn't even represent the U.S. flag at all. It's just the Nigerian flag. Like, you should at least have both of them at that point, right?
No
Because
accent whatsoever.
everything you learn and everything you know and all the opportunities you've ever had in life is because of America, living in America. Maybe come out with the American flag as well. I don't know. Just my opinion, I guess.
Yeah. One more touch up on Joe Rogan before we just move off that. Uh, Dave Portnoy also, like I said earlier about the brothers who tried to cancel Joe Rogan, he
Yeah.
confronted the three brothers of this organization that, let's see, yeah, the Midas Touch, like you said,
Midas touch.
yeah, Midas Touch, and Dave Portnoy had like legit proof that one of the brothers who had a mistress, not mistress, but fucking was a fiance
Yeah.
that was that had, I guess, like a screenshot of him saying the N word casually, and he kind of fucking
David and David, just
he brought it up and
They
like
kind of exposed them.
kind of exposed the fuck out of how hypocritical it
Well,
is.
when he first brought it up, one of the brothers was like, he was like, "Well, what if I said I had concrete, 100% evidence that one of you guys said the N word?" And then one of the brothers was like, "Well, you'd be lying." And then he was like, "Does one of you have a fiance named it was
Alexi
like
or some shit.
Lexi or some shit like that?" And then you just see their smiles drop, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just instantly dropped and like, oh shit. Yeah, what does that matter? Why? And then he's like, I have definite proof, a text message of you showing or using the N word casually.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, like, I mean, obviously, I mean, you have videos and like transcripts of Joe Biden using the N word and using like different variations of it in the public as a president today during his speeches, bro. Like,
Yeah. Well, people have known about that forever, so
I just don't understand why no one wants to bring up his dementia. He's slipping. We can all see it. It's embarrassing to have a weak president who's not mentally all there, who can't properly can't properly set. I can't even think of the word. So I mean, I might have the same condition as him. Honestly, I can't think enunciate a sentence properly. I couldn't think of that. Jeez. But yeah, it's like he's like, it's like you see that and it's like, come on, bro, that's a little sussy sus.
Well, the thing is like before he got elected, he really wasn't doing any much public things. The only time he'll do public stuff is like a 5 to 10 minute statement where it's on a prompter and he can just read it off and he can get out of there. And I know on the debates, you would watch the debates, he'd start off strong and then like
Fade
30 minutes
off.
into the debate, he'd start fading off, start
All the drugs wearing off.
jumbling a little bit. Hey, it is what it is. 80 million people voted for him supposedly, so it's like now we gotta wait for the next election, or
If
I'm
he
seeing a lot.
if he
I'm seeing a lot
even
of
runs.
yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things for like if 2022 say the Republicans win the Senate and
The House.
and the yeah the Senate and the House, it's like they can impeach him potentially, I guess.
They
And
really
then you're just
could.
gonna have Kamala, and Kamala literally only had 2% of the votes when she was running for president. It's like
I'm pretty sure she literally has like the worst VP ratings ever.
yeah, that wouldn't really surprise me to be honest.
Yeah. So let's talk about them fights yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So we'll pull up the fights here and get you the whole UFC 271. If anyone was watching and noticed The Rock's tweet, he mistyped and put 270 instead of 271 in his tweet. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I'm gonna throw him under the bus because he threw Joe Rogan under the bus. But
The Rock.
let's start with the main card. No, let's start with the prelims. I'm not gonna. The Fabio Charant versus Carlos Ulberg fight. Carlos Ulberg won in a split decision. It wasn't that interesting of a fight. The Marcelo Rojo versus Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips was actually a pretty good fighter. It was a pretty good fight, I thought, and he was kind of piecing Rojo up. Roxanne Modafferi versus Casey O'Neill. It was Roxanne Modafferi's last fight of her career. She ended up leaving her gloves in the middle of the ring as kind of like a semblance for her memento
Some
at
shit
saying
the
bye.
Undertaker did.
Yeah, I remember you were saying you're not the Undertaker. The fuck is wrong with you?
And she
But
got
yeah.
her ass whooped too.
Yeah, by a sexy woman, but I mean, it's like that weird curse. Like, no offense to women, but like, I feel like every time I watch women in UFC, the woman who's wearing like a full on sports shirt versus just a woman in a sports bra and like the sports pants, the woman in the shirt generally loses like 85% of the time over the other one, and it's just a weird fact. Like, if you watch fighting, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're just kind of like a casual and you watch like one big fight every like year, then you might not understand what I'm saying. But the
That's true. Yeah. They fucking the ones with like the t-shirts lose more often. It has to do with either aerodynamism or maybe it's a confidence issue. I don't know, something like that.
yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. Is maybe it's just like a insecurity thing. Don't want to have like your stomach or arm flabs or some shit. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Casey O'Neill wasn't too bad looking, but Casey O'Neill
Oh, the
did
woman
win.
beater.
Yeah, she was. I mean, Roxanne was older looking. She was a little bit slower. She kind of just like, I don't know. She kind of just stood there and like kind of walked forward and kind of like ate shots over and over again.
She had
Casey
a fuck
O'Neill,
ton of fights.
yeah,
She
she
been fighting
did.
for a while. The other lady was undefeated, right?
8-0, now 9-0. She was a lot more quicker, faster paced. Her strikes were cleaner, more sharp. And the last prelim of the fight was the Andre Arlovsky versus Jared Vandera. Um, Arlovsky was, I think he hit the first two rounds clearly. He was kind of piecing up, but being a little bit more light foot and more tactical with his punches, and he was able to like sneak him in and hit more. And then the third round, Vandera really started coming in, and clearly Arlovsky won in the split decision.
Yeah, I think Arlovsky he almost fucking choked that fight because he was definitely winning the first couple rounds.
Yeah, no, he almost
And like,
did.
towards the end of the second, the other dude started like getting in there, getting more combos off, and started hitting and landing more shots. And then the third round, yeah, the other guy, what was his name, Bandera?
Yeah, it's Jared Vandera. I
Yeah,
think.
Bandera. He definitely won the third round, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Arlovsky won that. What that was like. Was that the last part of the prelim?
That was the last fight of the prelims, and then it went to the main card. But
The main card was great, I think. Good
so
fight.
I'm gonna go back. Actually, the Carlos Ulberg fight versus Fabio Charant was not split decision. It was actually a unanimous decision for Ulberg. So, and then Kyler Phillips submitted Marcel Rojo in round 3 in the minute 48th.
Yeah,
He got that
yeah,
armbar on him.
We both. Well, you thought Phillips was gonna win, right? I thought Rojo would win that.
Yeah, you thought Phillips. You thought like their nationalities were mixed. You thought Phillips was the Argentinian, and then Rojo was the American at first.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Yeah,
kind of
no,
sense.
I just didn't know their nationalities in general, so I got confused. But yeah, Rojo got his fucking ass whooped in that one.
Yeah,
He got submitted and he was out of there pretty quick. Like not quickly. I think he got submitted.
third
in,
round.
Third round.
Yeah, it's only a minute 48 left, or a minute 48 in. I don't remember.
Yeah. That was a good fight though.
So the next, let's go to the next fight in the the main card. Bobby Green versus Nasrat Haqparast. If you watched it,
That shit was crazy. Yeah. That was a good ass fight.
it was pretty good. Unanimous decision. Bobby Green. I feel like that was kind of obvious. Bobby Green kind of did.
Bobby Green got a fuck ton of love though in that arena, man. They were like, Bobby.
Yeah, no. Imagine just having that feeling of just people just chanting the fuck out of you, and your name just being chanted by like 30,000 people. I don't know how many people were in attendance that day, but
Probably about 25,000.
probably it was in Houston, Texas. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Right next door to fucking Joe Rogan, that somehow wasn't on the pay-per-view. I'm scheduling conduct. Weird, but not weird. Apparently, he's gonna be on the next 272 card. We'll see.
272 who's fighting on
Or maybe was it 271 or 272? I said tomorrow or yesterday. I can't remember. Let me look at.
Well, this was 271, so it'd have to be 272, right?
Yeah, the next one. Oh, that's Covington versus Masvidal.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, who's gonna fight that card? Let me see.
Is that the main
Masvidal.
event?
Yeah. Masvidal Covington main event. Co-main event: Anjos versus Fiziev. Barboza versus Mitchell. Spivak versus Hardy. Holland versus Oliveira. Oh, that's welterweight, heavyweight, featherweight. In reverse, what I just said. Prelims. Malarkey versus Turner. Smith Gonzalez. Nurmagomedov versus Kelleher.
Oh, okay.
He's in the. Is that early prelims or prelims? No, that's just the prelims. They got hella fights this prelim. They got like 8 fights on this prelim.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3,
What is that
4,
including early
5,
prelims, I'm assuming?
6, 7, 8, 9. I would guess it doesn't say the early.
What was
It,
after the
it
Bobby
doesn't.
Green fight? The Renato Moicano fight? Alexander Hernandez?
Yeah, Alexander Hernandez and Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano just went out there and his submission was just clean. He came in there with 8 rear naked choke submissions, and he ended up with 9 rear naked choke submissions.
Yeah.
Dude, like this dude's a master at fucking rear naked chokes. Do not let this
Specialist,
motherfucker.
bro.
Yeah, he's a specialist. You know, they say, I fear not a man who has 1,000 punches, but has one punch he's practiced 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, you kind of remind. Well, he doesn't remind me of this guy, but what's his name? Ryan Hall, the guy who does the fucking.
Oh,
blocks.
yeah, the dude
Foot
fucking like
hooks, I think it's called.
he like rolls on his back forward or some
Yeah,
shit.
some people have their signatures, man. They master one move and then they're
Just funk, you just get your ass.
masters of it. I guess is the word you would use. Masters, fucking students of the game, man. They study that one move and then they fucking are so good at it, so efficient at it. Even when they go against the top tier guys, they're able to pull it off. I remember that one time though, the Ryan Hall guy. He goes in for the fucking heel hook and he gets fucking clattered and he got fucking slept. Remember?
No. Yeah.
That shit was hilarious to me because he just kept going for it, and then he finally got knocked out. You can't be predictable though. See, the thing about Renato Moicano is he was good on the stand up. He was transitioning well on the ground. He was keeping his distance whenever necessary. Because Alex Hernandez, you know, he's a powerful guy. He's explosive. He can come at you very quickly. But Renato Moicano fucking was steadfast, and then once he got on the ground, he was efficient. He fucking rear naked choked him, took him out.
It's
And
funny.
I think he was the slight favorite, so I don't think he was the underdog in that. But
Let's see. He had on UFC's official website. He had a negative 160.
yeah, so he was the favorite.
Yeah, so it was a round 2 submission, rear naked choke. He actually got outstruck significant wise, but he had 2 takedowns versus
Alex Hernandez is
Alexander.
great. He's not a great stand-up compared to the top guys, but he's good on the feet, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Next fight we got is the Cannonier versus Brunson fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
It's a pretty good fight. Yeah, it was kind of sad. It was kind of dunk, dunk, dunk. It was like, bro, I was like, damn, 38 and 37. Got some old heads in here, but, you know, they still swinging.
Shit, Cannonier's on the best run of his career, though. He's, like, hitting his prime.
Brunson was on a
Honestly-
5-game win streak, too, and then he got slept. TKO.
Oh, yeah, Brunson was on a win streak, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on a 5 win. Yeah.
Wow. I forgot about that. But, yeah, Cannonier, man, now that Adesanya won, we'll get to that in a minute, but, like, now that Adesanya won, Cannonier's got to get that title fight.
Yeah, we're working our way up, boys. Just wait for the sauce.
The good thing about that Cannonier Adesanya fight is like Cannonier's big weakness is wrestling. That's why Brunson was a big issue for him. Was supposed to be a big issue for him. He kind of whooped Brunson's ass, right?
Yeah, he did.
But the big issue was gonna be Brunson's like a fucking top tier wrestler.
Wrestler.
He was a top tier wrestler, so that was gonna cause Jared Cannonier issues. But Cannonier went in there. He stopped the takedowns. He beat the shit out of Brunson, but
Stuffed
I think
him.
what really fucked Brunson up was
that
he hit him
bow?
in the ear.
Oh, no, yeah.
He bowed him in the ear, or he hit him in the ear. Was it a right hook? Yeah, he hit him in the ear a couple times, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, he just fucked his.
equilibrium.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, the second one, where Tyson Fury whopped him and completely fucking rocked him, and then Wilder was shaky footed the whole fight, never recovered, and then his corner had thrown the towel, and that's why he lost. And at the end of the day, it's because his ear was gushing blood, his
Mm.
equilibrium, his balance was all off. But
Yeah.
Cannonier, man, he's a beast. What I was gonna say is like about the Adesanya fight is that they're both stand up, and so there's not gonna be any wrestling against Cannonier. Cannonier's not fucking scared to go in and throw some punches, so it should be a good fight, him versus Adesanya.
If he does get the next challenge. But kind
Yeah,
of spoil the results for who won the Robert Whitaker Israel Adesanya fight.
I think everyone knows.
Yeah, but before that, let's get to the Derek Lewis Tai Tuivasa, which was my favorite fight of the night.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Tai Tuivasa, the shoe boot drinker. We like
both
those.
predicted him to win, right?
Yeah, dude. Looky like, I don't think I don't remember. I think I said Brunson for Jared Cannonier Brunson fight, but
Yeah,
I think
I did.
every other fight, I think I called pretty good on the main card at least, and then
We both said Bobby Green would win. We both said Ronaldo would win. You said Brunson. I said Cannonier. We both said Tuivasa. I was.
we're pretty much the same on most
We'll
of
get to the
them.
main event in a second. But about Derek Lewis, bro, it's like I've always been a big fan of Derek Lewis, and I've always rooted for him. But now that he's had 2 title shots now,
Damn.
both times he fought like
Ass.
he's a great fighter, so I don't want to shit talk him, but he really fought like a coward. I guess.
Yeah, like he was scared, bro. That's what I was gonna say.
He was
Like,
scared of the limelight, and the second fight was in Houston, his hometown, and it was massive.
and in here was Houston again with Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah. This was in Houston too, but so he lost those 2 fights, and I'm thinking in my head the way my mind process is like he's had 2 title shots. He fought really badly in both title shots. Didn't even put up a fight. Didn't even pursue the knockout. So it's like I know if he got to that position again, he'd lose. So I'm rooted for Tuivasa just because it's like I know if Tuivasa. Well, I don't know because I assumed Derek Lewis would go into the championship fight and do well, but I have a feeling that Tuivasa would go into the championship fight and he would really fucking put up a fight and get slept. You know what I mean? He'd go in there to either knock someone out or
Get knocked out. Yeah, that's kind of what you want from like heavyweights and big boys. You
especially
know.
from heavyweights. That's what you expect.
That's what you expect. Some big, heavy slugs going on. But, dude, I'm looking at the results, bro, and Tai Tuivasa was only ranked 11. And Derek Lewis is ranked 3rd in that fight. It's kind of crazy. Because Tuivasa knocked the back beast Derek Lewis the fuck out.
Yeah, he fucking
Dude.
elbowed him, and then Derek Lewis. He didn't stiff, but he just collapsed.
Dude, straight just went forward, bro. And it was kind of weird. Like, he kind of, like, fully just clicked and just, like, fell forward.
Yeah, well, Derek Lewis. There were some moments in the fight where it looked like Derek Lewis hurt Tuivasa. Tuivasa's really. Yeah,
He's just
you've seen his
persistent.
fights. He can take a shot, recover, and come at you still. He's won multiple fights like that. So
100%. He definitely outstruck him with total strikes. Derek Lewis actually had more significant strikes landed and 2 takedowns, but doesn't matter if you get knocked out.
Well, that actually surprised me. He had more significance.
He had
Did
3
he have
more.
total strikes.
No, he didn't, but he had more significant landed.
Because Tuivasa was throwing more like combos, and Derek was going for the big ones. And
Yeah.
he landed. I mean, I remember he did land a couple, and he actually did hurt Tuivasa a couple times. But
I just feel like after fucking Derek Lewis got knocked out hard as fuck, he just got a little bit more scared of like other dudes because he used to be in there just fearless as fuck. But then like he just got rocked by some other big ass dude, and he's like, oh shit. And he started reading like you really saw that in the Cyril Gane fight and like the Francis Ngannou fight. It just kind of slow paced, not really much is thrown. Like you got like obviously you understand your opponent is just like you can throw fucking heavy hitter bombs and it's just agile as fuck with Cyril Gane and just crazy.
it's so weird. It's like you see it a lot with fighters. They get into the title fight and they fight so differently.
Like remember when Anthony Smith fought
John Jones.
dude, like you thought he was gonna be good as fuck, but then he fought like obviously not like the shit on fighters, 'cause we're not fighters. We do have a little bit of background training in the martial arts, but nothing really serious, just little bits here and there.
Not even 1/100th of these guys.
Yeah, no, we're not shit on them, but like it looked like he was scared. These are just things we visually see. It looked like
it's okay to acknowledge someone who's scared or intimidated, afraid of the moment. You know what I mean? That happens in every sport. It happens all the time. So,
yeah, no,
Anthony Smith.
he just lost his
is
will.
for that.
It looked like he was
Anthony
running.
Smith, who else? Who else?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other fights.
Gustafson in the second John Jones fight fought the same way.
Yeah.
Very, very timid, which was super surprising because in the first fight against John Jones, I remember Gustafson really put it on him, and I'd say the majority of people would say Gustafson won that fight, but he didn't get it. He got the title shot again years later, and he really didn't. He just didn't show up. It was really odd.
Yeah, sad. But now let's head on to the last and most important fight. The Reaper, Robert Whitaker versus the last stylebender, Israel Adesanya.
Yes, sir.
Whitaker was the number one position too, damn. He looked chunky. Not chunky like fat, but he was like a fucking thick boy. He was wide. Like compared to Adesanya, like he was like barrel chested, if you know what I mean. Like those types of
Yeah,
dudes.
yeah. Whitaker's really not small, but he's short compared to Adesanya. Adesanya's really a really tall guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you look at the total stats, um, Adesanya landed 52% of his total strikes. He hit 98 out of 188. Rube Whitaker landed 49% of his strikes, so 74 out of 154. So he got outstruck. And always, same thing with significant strikes. Adesanya struck 47% of his 79 he landed out of 169, and then for Whitaker he landed 43% of his 136 at 59. And then, but Whitaker did have 40% takedown rate with 4 takedowns out of the 10 he attempted.
Yeah, but Adesanya got up instantly on all those.
Yeah, I know. And then,
So they were, but they're still takedowns nonetheless. And I remember them saying I think it was equal to the most takedowns anyone's ever gotten on Adesanya. Which, if you're Whitaker, you gotta
that's something.
impressive. You know what I mean? That's a good
That's
accomplishment. But
something.
it's like once you got him down, you didn't really do much.
Yeah,
But
because, like you said, he did get up, like, really quick most of the time. I mean, he was down for maybe at what most, maybe 12 seconds to 20 seconds.
yeah, probably something like that.
Like,
But
the max.
what I was gonna say is you predicted Adesanya. I was actually thinking Whitaker might win it, just because of how many trilogies have been in the UFC recently, man. I was like,
Yeah, you're right.
low key, Whitaker might snag a knockout or something because knocked out before. So
I mean, after the first
Time in the
round, I
UFC.
kind of already, I could see that Israel was going to win after the first round for sure. But, like, before,
Anything can happen.
yeah, I mean, anything can, yeah, literally anything can happen in fighting. If you can just get one lucky clip, one fucking good punch, straight jab, reversal, submission, landing in the correct position, anything really. I mean, my old soccer coach used to tell me, man, the old Jamaican dude in his 50s, used to say, he's like, every game you win with hard work, natural talent, and a little bit of luck. So it's like there's 3 things, some people have talent, and you got your hard work, and then you got your luck. And you got to have a little bit of everything.
Well, I think Adesanya's going for the record, right? The most title defenses record. And because he already tried going up to light heavyweight, didn't really work out. He kind of got manhandled.
Yeah,
And
man.
if you look at
Blachowicz.
if you look at the weight class, it's really like no one's
Gonna
I don't think
challenge him
anyone can
at the
beat him,
moment.
Really, obviously something could happen. It's like when Anderson Silva fought Chris Weidman, for example. It's like everyone thought Anderson Silva would win, but at the end of the day, Chris Weidman fucking knocked him out because Anderson Silva was showing off. You know what I mean? So anything can happen, but if you just look at the division on paper and you look at their body of work, you would assume Adesanya could easily. What is he on? 13 or 12? No, he's on 12 defenses now, right? You could assume he'd get up to what is it?
He's had 1, 2, 3,
Jones like
4, 5, 6 defenses. 6
Oh, he
title.
has 6 defenses.
Yeah, he only has 6. Because he got the belt.
That's the wins total in that division.
Yeah, so he won it from Silva. Then he defended against Gastelum, Whitaker, Romero, Paulo Costa, Vettori, and then Whitaker just now. I'm looking at his fight history on
He fought Romero too, right?
Yeah, I said Romero.
Oh, you did. Okay.
And then I didn't say Jan Blachowicz because that was just a higher division, and that's the only L he has on his record.
Yeah. Yeah. So Israel Adesanya is gonna be champ for a while. Let us know.
Yeah.
He's in his prime right now.
I would say he's probably my favorite fighter at the moment. I liked him before he became the champion, mainly because he liked anime. That was like the biggest reason I
Yeah,
liked
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
has the fucking Nine Tails fucking seal on his belly.
yeah. That was like, dude, that's sick as fuck. Cause I think like we were at Tristan's house or some shit. And Tristan's like, look, bro, he's got a fucking nine-tail seal or some shit. It was like either you or Tristan, and they were like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I was like, dude, this is dope. Likes anime and he whoops ass. Proving all
I
them
don't know who.
nerds.
I actually don't know who my favorite fighter would be right now. I like Sugar Sean O'Malley.
I do like Sean O'Malley a lot too. Oh, and what's his name of fucking Valoya, fucking Paddy Pimblett,
Oh yeah,
fucking Paddy Pimblett.
Patty Pimlet's cool. Yeah. I like Justin Gaethje too. I still like McGregor, even though he hasn't really.
He's like lost his last like 3 or 4 fights.
I like Poirier. Heavyweights. DC's retired now. He was my favorite fighter. DC's retired. Miocic is still running about, right? I like Miocic. I like
Yeah.
Ngannou. I just have a bunch of I have a favorite fighter for every division, I guess. At this point, I don't really have.
Which I think is
there's
fair,
not
kind
someone
of.
I can look at. There's not someone I can look at and be like, oh yeah, that's my favorite fighter anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like overall. I mean, it's kind of like soccer. I mean, you can have like a team you kind of prefer for each league. You know, like you know, I like Bayern Munich from German league. You know, if it's to pick from like a Europe league, pick another team, Spanish league. You know, maybe something like that. Or
Yeah.
different players, different teams you like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So, Covington versus Masvidal is next.
Yeah, 272.
I really think Covington's probably gonna whoop his ass, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, Masvidal really came out of like the woodworks, and he like got some big ass fights like out of nowhere, and then he got like so much hype and clout because of like his style and like that big knockout on
Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, yeah.
Yep, that's how he got the fame and notoriety.
Because let's look at his fight history. He's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights in the UFC history. All right, let me check all. Okay, no. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It was only like showing me a couple. That was a lie. Don't look at that. So damn, he's got a bunch of shit in, like hook and shot, AFC, FT, Bodog fight, Strike Force, Sengoku 6 battle, Bellator fighting championships. So all right, so UFC, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20 UFC fights.
20.
And then in those 20, he's 12-8. 12 wins, 8 losses.
That's not that great, to be honest. But Nate Diaz doesn't have that great of a record either. It's just if you connect with the fans, you'll be big. You know what I mean? It's not strictly based on record in the UFC like it is in boxing.
Yeah, his overall record for everything is 35-15-0. So 35 wins, 15 losses, 0 draws or no contest. And he's had 3 belt fights. 1 in Strikeforce against Gilbert Melendez, which he lost actually. And then obviously his 2 fights against Kamaru Usman.
Lost both of them. Yeah.
Lost both of those. He lost to Stephen Thompson in 2017. Damn, he had a 2-year period, 2017 to 2019, where he didn't fight.
Damn, he probably got injured.
That was the Bisping St. Pierre fight. UFC 217 Bisping versus St. Pierre.
Oh, that was
George St. Pierre. So yeah, I guess he was on that.
Everyone thought George St. Pierre was back. No, he just won 1 fight, dipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. And he lost to Damian Maia. He lost to Lorenz Larkin back in 2016. Benson Henderson 2015.
Damn.
Alaquinta in 2015. Yeah, he's like 12-8 in UFC.
That's fucked. Well, he's getting old too. He's like late 30s, so he's probably doesn't have too many fights left.
Yeah, he's 37.
He always has that Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, damn, that motherfucker 37. Yeah, that's crazy. Motherfuckers be hitting their prime late, bro.
Same age as Cannonier, right?
Cannonier, yeah.
Jared Cannonier. That's a cool ass name right there, man.
It is a pretty dope name. All right.
In here.
So let's talk soccer and the Canadian Freedom Convoy and Ukraine versus Russia, and then we got to get out here so we can check on the fucking Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not really care too much. I've never really cared about football, but
Right, yeah.
no can watch some of it. I'll just be out there with him. But let's start with. Do you want to end on politics or do you want to end on soccer?
Let's end on soccer.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's end on
More
soccer.
lighthearted.
All right, so Canadian convoy, Freedom Trucker protest convoy. What are your thoughts? I'll just let you start.
Well, from what I've seen, I like it. I don't mind any type of peaceful protest, man. I'm not against. I don't care if I disagree with the people individually, but it's like at the end of the day, peaceful protest is how you get the word out and how you tell the government that you're not okay with what they're doing, right? So I'm okay with them doing that. And to be honest, if you're living in Ottawa where it's going on, it's like they're fucking Ottawa.
Justin
I don't know how.
Trudeau's getting fucking hammered. He like escaped and fled the city because
Well,
he was
yeah,
scared.
it's crazy. It's like if you live in Ottawa, there's two sides of it, and I get both sides totally. One side is the Freedom Convoy, where they're like, we don't want these mandates. It's fucking us. We don't feel like it should be necessary. This and that. You know, all the main talking points for being against mandates. And then you got other people who are like fucking saying just put up with it and do what's better for your country. And honestly, if you're living in Ottawa, if I was living in Ottawa, bro, I'd be going fucking crazy because they're fucking honking the horn
Well,
nonstop,
I've heard
nonstop.
that apparently like after like 8, 9, 10, like they start to like once it gets darker,
Oh,
they
really?
turn it off.
Okay. Well, still, it was. I was seeing videos where people were saying I haven't slept in 5 fucking days.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one dude and like
Yeah.
basically, I mean, Tim Pool, another person like I was, he's like I don't give a fuck what you think. Where he's like you can relax because you put these people in power, you voted for these people. He's like you can relax, you can like deal with some honking. I mean, yeah, I mean obviously if you were in that situation, it'd be annoying, and then I don't fully know the whole situation. If that's really truly going on, it's obviously going to be a huge inconvenience, but I mean, it's an inconvenience for the government to try to kind of force you to do some shit that's not necessarily humanitarianly right.
Yeah. So it's a peaceful protest, and I support that no matter what it is. And you know, I'm not for, and I'm seeing this. I'm not for them getting criminally charged because of the protest. I'm not okay with that. And I've seen things. I don't know if it's confirmed. It's not confirmed. I don't think I haven't seen it, but I've seen rumors that they might take their kids away. The people there, they might take their fucking kids away,
Oh
which is
my
like,
god.
it's like what the fuck, dude? They are protesting government mandates that are hindering their life. You know what I mean? And they're if they're against it, they're against it. You got to let them do their thing. But it's like an endless protest, right? They're going in there and they're saying we're not leaving until something's fucking done about this. Which I don't. That is what it is. But if you're asking me if I support them, I support it. But it's like I only support it because it's like it can't last for fucking ever. You know what I mean? It can't be a forever thing, or you're never gonna get back to the economies that were before COVID. You'll never get back to that unless you get back to normal. And the COVID stuff's been going on for so long now. And I also saw that 90% of Canadians were already vaccinated. So it's like I don't know, man. It's fucked up because now they're deploying police on them and military and things like that.
Yeah, no, like I literally saw like posts and like news articles today that are popping up of police arresting Freedom Convoy protesters at the blocked U.S. Canadian bridge.
Yeah.
You can Google this yourself, like New York Post and shit. At least a dozen so-called Freedom Convoy protesters were arrested this Sunday. So today, during this whole thing, and basically, I
They were
mean,
arrested, you said?
yes, arrested.
Jesus Christ. See, that's what I'm against that type of shit.
People forget that Canada is not America. They might be right next to us, but they do not have the same. It's like a similar
Oh yeah.
looking constitution, and all that shit, but for everyone listening out there, like they don't have like freedom of speech really. They don't have all the other shit that we do. I'm not like fully
They have
gonna.
state-controlled media over there.
Oh yeah, dude. Like like I think the left media like got leftist media got like 1.3 billion dollars in donations from the government, which is like clearly like just government paying the media to do what they say and just show you what they want to show you. And I
Canada literally have a news organization that is run by their government. I forget what
literally
it's called.
here. Let's look
Yeah.
that up. Canadian government owned news media. If you can hear me typing, I apologize.
I just hope that thing the thing is resolved peacefully. No one's arrested. No one's put in prison. No one is charged because I saw Justin Trudeau say, he goes, if you stay and continue, you will be arrested. You will be charged, and you will lose your trucking license.
Yeah, no,
Plus,
dude,
you're traveling internationally.
it's so
Like, if
stupid.
they're
They're
really gonna
literally
do that to someone because they're peacefully protesting something the government's doing, bro. That's like some shit you would see in fucking authoritarian countries. It's like not
look.
right.
That's just some pussy shit. First off, because they're scared because it's working. Because they didn't realize that the truckers had this much power because they really do make the fucking country move by making shit get to where they need to be going.
Yeah.
And they're just being super emotional because they're the one percenters and they've been able to tell people what to do and make people listen to them. And then when people step up and don't want to do it and they're doing it in a peaceful way and they can't really retaliate, and no matter how much they try to slander or discriminate or change the narrative of what's really going on, they forget that people really aren't as stupid as they think they are. Like people aren't like with the amount of information and technology and like independent journalists out there and different news medias popping up here and there, and then like the implosion of our own American government and news media system just crashing, and not like just average like YouTubers and podcasters and social media influencers are getting more views than our news radios are daily, and it's ridiculous with the amount of control that they're trying to do. And I did find like some of the places that Justin Trudeau did fund through his COVID-19 pandemic shit, such as publications such as Maclean's, The Logic, Select Post Media and Black Press Papers, The Daily Hive, and the Epoch Times all benefited from emergency funding from the Trudeau government that provided during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, I will say
$30
it's
million
like,
dollars.
if you're Trudeau and he comes out and publicly says the truckers are racist and all this bullshit, which everyone knows that's bullshit.
They had
But
one guy that had a Nazi flag and they kicked him out, literally, of the protest.
yeah, the truckers kicked them out. They said get the fuck out of here. So and there's different races, ethnicities all over. I mean, what are truckers only white? That's fucking retarded right there.
Exactly, it's just
You know
an
what I mean?
assumption.
It's bullshit. Obviously, all the truckers aren't white. A lot of them are different races and ethnicities. But Justin Trudeau comes out and he's like, I support protests. I supported the BLM protest. This protest I don't support because
It doesn't fit the left narrative.
They're racist or whatever the fuck. It's like, dude,
That's what they always do.
If you support peaceful protests from your people, you're supposed to be a prime minister for your whole country.
No.
You're supposed to back your whole fucking civilization, bro. You're supposed to back all the citizens, whether they're left, right, or whatever the fuck. Because I know Canada has like 5 different fucking parties. It's like, if you support peaceful protests and have it end like that. Don't be...
See, now you can't be in the 1% without being a hypocrite, because that defeats the whole paradox of being a 1%er, is because you have to be hypocritical, and it's just seen like consistently throughout the U.S. like politicians these days, where you see Pelosi getting a haircut directly after banning like going into haircut like fucking haircutteries, and like the dude in New York, Cuomo, doing all this fuck shit, and we see the shit that goes on. Like the average people, the people who just sit here do all the work, the truckers, the fucking people who didn't go to college, the kids, the next generation, all the conspiracy theorists, even fucking politicians. You know, like if you haven't seen the Tim Pool episode with they had Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas someone else, and they really do be giving insights onto what really goes on in the House of Representatives. And what happens when they vote and what people do, and like they say that they actually legit have to sit there and go in rotation to make sure people are actually doing their job, and because they'll pass a bill with like 2 or 3 people in there, and they're supposed to be like 218 out of like the
Yeah.
400 something people that are supposed to agree on a bill to get it passed, and people are just
And then
passing with like two to
and
three
then the
people.
bill is and then the bill is fucking 100,000 pages, and no one can read that in the amount of time that is required to fucking vote. You know what I mean? They'll present a bill, and within a week, or not even a week, a couple of days you're voting, but the fucking stack of papers is so thick it's like impossible for someone to read it all, and then you just don't know what's being
It's just
funded exactly,
ridiculous.
and it just causes more confusion. But I'll just say, like, the whole point of a democracy.
Just to vote.
I know the U.S. is a constitutional republic, but we have democratic fucking tendencies majorly. You know what I mean? Same with Canada. It's like the whole point is for the people's voices to be heard. And as long as it's non-violent and no one's being affected, the only way people are being affected with the Ottawa stuff, because they're parked on side, like you can still drive through them. You know what I mean? The only way people are really being affected with the Ottawa stuff and the truckers' freedom convoy is like the honking. It kind of gets fucking
It's
annoying.
annoying, but it's worth your freedom, bro. And it's like people can see when you're just trying to shut down their freedoms and like completely change the narrative. Like there's a CNN analyst that issued an extreme solution for the Freedom Convoy protest against vaccine mandates, and the many on social media. It's like you can see the hypocrisy with these people saying that they're violent, they're extremists, or all this shit. While this woman that works at CNN, Juliet KM, said that the law enforcement should slash the tires of the trucks, empty the gas tanks, and arrest the drivers before moving on to even more drastic proposals.
Yeah, that's fucking psycho.
It's like, how can you see like that you're being insanely hypocritical and basically being more aggressive and violent towards the people who aren't agreeing with your view, and they're not even asking for anything. They're not asking for money. They're not asking for pay raises. They just want you to stop doing something they don't like. Like,
Well, I'll just say this: who's ever gotten power, like more power, and relinquished it freely? You know, with the mandates and stuff, it's like that sets a precedent for anything in the future that's not virus related. They could easily fucking set mandates for other things. You know what I mean? They could enforce laws that they wouldn't have been able to enforce
mayors,
before the virus, and you know what I mean. So it's like with the
mayors
virus,
found out they have so much more power than they really
yeah,
did.
with the virus, they've gained a lot more control and power. It's like they're not going to relinquish that unless the people fucking
Get their
get
voice
them
out
to,
there.
and their voice is so loud and so powerful, and enough people agree with them. The majority of the country, let's say, would agree with them to say, "All right, you guys got to fucking relinquish this power. There's going to be some fucking issues." That's the only way they would relinquish power. The government's not going to get more power and more control, and then after a couple years of having it, being like, all right, we're good, we're gonna relinquish all this shit and set things back to how it was. That's not how it works.
Nope.
That's never how it's gonna work.
Once you
So
give up one of your freedoms, you won't get it back. Even if it's in a slight way, you don't really think about it. Just like them taking your shoes off at the airport.
yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's not directly correlated, but it's like when 9/11 happened, okay? And they got all these database. They passed laws to where it was all right to spy on U.S. citizens, and they said it was going to be temporary. They say it was a temporary act, and it wasn't fucking completed until Snowden comes out, and he's like, it's still happening to this day, and it's not even targeted people that are like threat assessments would be like be watched and be monitored because they were potential terrorists or whatever, potential threats to the country. Now it's just everyone gets fucking monitored, and everyone's in the database, and it's never going away. It's never gonna go back. You know what I mean? It's kind of similar to that. Obviously, it's a little different, but like I said, you give the government power and control, they're not going to relinquish it. They're just going to use that to their
Yeah.
advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I like overall I would say I kind of agree with I do support the Canadian. I mean, like if you even look at the GoFundMe, they like try to basically steal the money. They try to just take it and give to organizations and charities they thought were more
They literally
suited.
robbed people. Yeah, that was
They
so fucked up.
they
But
tried
I
to,
think they
but
ended up changing that.
yeah, no, they gave all the money back, and then people started trying to use another website. It was like Give, Send, Go, and they had another couple million on that shit. And then the Canadian government blocked the money from going to the truckers because they're saying it's a violent like protesting, fucking all this shit. I'm like, bros, you can see what's happening. You can hear what's happening. People have cameras. People have been live streaming this daily, every day. It's like, if you really do your own research and look for shit, you can see what's happening. And I'm not like a conspiracy theorist or anything crazy. I'm just a dude who kind of looks and sees shit, you know. I'm not trying to preach anything on anyone. I'm just saying what I've seen, what I think. You know, these are my opinions. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's fine. You know, I'm okay with that. You know, I'm probably wrong in some other ways, and I'm probably wrong or right in some ways in another way. Who knows? And I don't know.
Whether you're left or right, I think it's kind of obvious the government, whoever's in power at the time, will use everything they can to do, like, to get what they want done. You know what I mean? Whether it's through intelligence agencies, whether it's through fucking news networks, whether it's through adding new laws, whether it's through funding people that are going to help you outside of the governmental bubble. You know what I mean? There's some things you can't do with the government. You know what I mean? You need businesses, you need news organizations, you need intelligence agencies, which are supposed to be completely separate from fucking legislative, but they're not. They're all fucking interconnected. So
It's just like everyone in power, once you get to a certain level of like power, wealth, fame, notoriety, you enter this new realm of who knows who you are and who you interact with. Like, obviously, like, I've seen recently, like, Putin and Biden going back and forth. I've heard a bunch of people saying, like, I've read a bunch of articles saying that the U.S.'s allocations on the claims of Russia about to invade are false, all this other shit. Biden Biden is announcing to the Americans in Ukraine to evacuate now. And I'm just like, bro, it's like, you don't know what's really going to go on. So, I mean, that's the next thing let's talk about.
well, they're saying within a week
It
they're gonna
should.
invade Ukraine.
And then if Ukraine gets invaded by Russia, China is invading Thailand. And that's where 95% of our chip manufacturing is from.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
China
gonna get
controls
pretty
us.
It's gonna get pretty fucked up, man. And
Which is kind of weird. Why would you put 95% of our chip production factories in one location
no,
that's
it's fucking stupid.
it's
Everything
it's
should be made on land, bro, like in the U.S.
cheaper, and I don't know, maybe it's
Well,
just like
yeah,
a long
that's
plot because, you know, China plays the long game. And like,
obviously cheaper, but you'd still make profits if you made it in the U.S.
look, and when I say China, I don't mean the Chinese people. I'm talking about the Chinese Communist Party, because obviously there's innocent people in every country. Not every country is inherently evil, just like not every race, religion, skin color, whatever is inherently whatever. I mean, you all grow up based on nature and nurture, your environment, whatever insights get put into your brain, whoever you're around. Everything changes based on all the different variables in life in the world that you just kind of get thrown at you, and then what hits you in life. I mean, I don't really know what to say is. I don't. It's not my say, but like the Chinese people there, I'm not like against Chinese people in general. I'm just against like the Chinese Communist Party. Just wanted to make that clear.
No, yeah. I think most people know that it's like they're fucking functioning, using their function.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to believe that like most, I would feel like most, like probably 60+% of average Americans, you know, that aren't far-sighted on either side, or just like normal central people who just kind of want the best for America and the people around them, and you know, they don't really care about racism, or not necessarily don't care about it, but it's not really a part of their life, or it's not something they're actively doing. I mean, it's a small percentage of it's always like the minorities that have the biggest voices and the loudest effects on the world, and just like it's ridiculous how minorities are able to take over like small groups of like large groups of people and countries. It just amazes me.
Yeah, well, with the Russian thing, Russia invading Ukraine, I know that the U.S. won't get involved directly. Like, it won't send its troops
No,
into
yeah.
Ukraine to fight Russians. But they will be heavily funding Ukraine, and they will be sending Ukraine military
Maybe another Cold War.
weapons. Yeah, kind of, yeah. But they'll send the Ukrainians weapons and be supporting them through funding and positioning, I guess. But I know we do have troops on the Polish border, which is the back end of Ukraine. And it could escalate to us being involved, but I don't really think it will, because Ukraine's not a part of NATO, and so we don't have any laws that say if Ukraine's invaded, we have to help them. I think what will happen is probably Ukraine will take Russia, and that'll be that. But like you said, China's gonna end up invading Taiwan, which I agree. It's not like confirmed, but I agree. Like if if Russia invades Ukraine and China sees that the U.S. or the NATO allies aren't super aggressive towards it, they're gonna be like, why don't we fucking take Taiwan while they're at it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because at
So
this
it's a
point,
real fuck situation, but it could easily escalate. And I think I saw Putin say if the U.S. tries to get involved, they'll use nuclear power. So that's
oh
how
my
it could
god,
start, bro. It'd be fucked, but you just gotta hope for the best. I know that 33, I think it was 33% of Ukrainians said that they would actively take arms, just civilians. Obviously, the government and the military, they'd be fighting Russia, but 33% of the fucking civilians who aren't military, who aren't maybe military trained, I'm sure a certain amount of them are veterans or something like that. But they said they would take up arms against the Russians if they invaded. So Russia wouldn't just be fighting the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian military, they'd be fighting the Ukrainian people, which is like it's kind of crazy. I saw a stat. It's like the Russians would need an invasion of 500,000 troops if they want to take Ukraine because of how many
jeez,
civilians would be fighting, bro. It's kind of crazy now.
yeah, that's
And that
wild.
would be a fuck ton of bloodshed. And I don't know how welcoming the Ukrainian people are going to be to Russia if they take Ukraine over while killing a fuck ton of civilians. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, it's going to be
But
fucked up.
let's end on a positive note. So let's get off all that shit and let's talk about soccer. Let's talk about the AFCON Cup, the World Cup.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
let's just go by the AFCON Cup real quick. I wanted to talk about this, the Salah Mane, being on the same team from Liverpool, English Premier League team, the first division. For anyone not really knowing, Liverpool on the same team. This is a African nation like tournament. So Salah is playing for Egypt. Sadio Mane is playing for Senegal, and they're playing the African Cup final. There was a little bit of controversy or some shit where Mo Salah put club allegiances aside to help Egypt goalkeeper Mohamed Abu Gabel save Sadio Mane's penalty in the African Cup of Nations final. So he kind of like snaked his teammate in like the national team
Yeah, they're
kind of
opposed
games.
right there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It was funny because like a lot of people were bringing this up, and I heard it on a couple of like the podcasts I listened to for soccer, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at a picture here. It's kind of funny. They're just kind of like pointing. He's like, yeah, just dive right there. That's where he shoots.
And it was saved, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's fucked up, bro. But I've seen that happen a couple times, bro. Honestly, I've seen it happen. Or like former teammates pointed out, and they end up saving it because the teammate fucking knows the person like the back of their hand, right? They go to fucking training together
yeah,
and they practice penalties all the fucking time. You're gonna know where they tend to lean, and sometimes I've seen times where they pointed one way, the player went the other way because I'm sure the player assumed, hey, he's behind me, telling him where I'm gonna fucking go. Let me go the opposite way.
yeah. True that. I
But
think Africa, the Afcon also hosted its first female referee ever. So progression right there for Africa.
hell yeah,
Um,
hell yeah.
So let's see. I'm looking at the stats right now, trying to see what's up. I didn't really follow too hard on it. I do know that like Nigeria got kicked out pretty early.
Nigeria got kicked out early. I
Algeria
know
also got kicked out pretty early. Ivory Coast. Um,
who did Ivory Coast.
yeah, let's see. I want to see the run of
Well,
16.
I know Mane won, and I didn't really watch any of the matches just because they were on at weird times. But
Yeah,
I did watch I watched like the last 20 minutes of the final, and
yeah. They won for Senegal won 4-2 on penalties
yeah,
against Egypt in the final. Cameroon versus Burkina
it
Faso.
was crazy though. Like in the streets of Senegal, man, there was like fucking hundreds of thousand people celebrating that
Just
shit, bro.
going nuts. And you're like,
Yeah,
Sadio Mane said this is the best trophy he ever won. He's like, I've won some other trophies he's like, I won the Champions League and some other trophies, but this is the best trophy I've ever won.
well, it's not the best trophy, obviously, but it's probably the
It,
most important to him.
like, yeah, obviously emotionally and statistically, no, I mean not statistically, but
Then
emotionally to
again, I
him
guess it
in
would
his country.
like you would assume
For his country and his position, that would be a like because they've never wait.
massive.
Have they won it before?
I don't know. I don't know. I know Egypt have won it like 4 or 5 times.
I think I
Oh
want
yeah,
to say that.
Senegal's definitely won it before.
Yeah, Senegal win Africa Cup of Nations for first time in history. So that was the first
Oh
time
shit.
Senegal ever won The first African
Gymnastics.
Cup of Nations to be played in Cameroon since 1972.
Well, that's why it
Senegal
was
win
so
their
special
first
over
ever
there.
title. Yeah,
That's why it
that
was so
too.
special.
It was the first ever one they ever scored. After 120 minutes, Egypt lost 4-2 on penalties. R.I.P. I saw a meme of like Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool coach, congratulating Salah like in the hallway, like hugging him and shit. Like, good job, man, you for winning the AFCON Cup. And then you see Salah come, he's like, oh shit, he like backs up and he's like, and he
Oh,
puts
so
his,
you was telling Mane good job. You said Salah.
and he's like, oh shit, Salah snaked him. I got dip.
Hey man, fucking. I don't know. Who do you think's gonna? Liverpool's like a favorite to win the Champions League. You'd assume one of the favorites. I don't think they'll win the Premier League this year because Man City's doing such a great job. But Champions League they could still win it. I think the favorites are probably Man City.
I'm gonna check
For
the
Champions League.
table. Let's see.
For the Champions League, I'd assume Man City's the favorite. Bayern. Real Madrid.
Are you talking about Champions League? Yeah, Champions League. Bayern, Man City, Liverpool, maybe Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea defending champs. You can't
Defending
count them out,
champs,
but
yeah.
I don't think Chelsea will win it this year, to be honest.
And Arsenal not gonna. I don't even think Arsenal made it. Athletic Madrid aren't gonna make it. I think PSG's really stacked on paper, but they just haven't congealed as a team and been working well. They're definitely like the best team on paper for sure. Like,
Oh yeah.
name wise.
They got Neymar, Mbappe, Messi.
But yeah, I'm looking at the EPL Premier League table right now. Man City's in first, Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham. West Ham's in fourth, and then Man United. I knew my fucking coworker's probably happy as fuck. I didn't even know about that. West Ham. He's a West Ham fan, and they're in fourth place right now. Liverpool and Chelsea only have 24 played, so they're down a little bit. But I mean, Man City's up by let's see, 9 points to Liverpool. So with one game less, and if Liverpool win their next game, they would be 6 points clear with a total of 25 each game played. Goal difference isn't too bad. It's a 5 goal difference. So
Yeah.
potentially, if Liverpool win their next game, they'll be 6 points close. Man City would have to lose 2 games for them to catch up. And if they got 5 goals in that next game, they would clear up the goal differential anyways, and they could probably topple them.
Yeah, I don't think so though.
But Man City looks like they might win the league this season.
Yeah, I think Man City will win it.
See who's Serie A. AC Milan is in first place for Serie A, and then Inter Milan, Napoli, Juventus is fourth, Atalanta fifth, Lazio, Roma, Fiorentina. Basically all the bigger name clubs. Torino's 10th.
Wait, who's first right now in the Serie A? Inter?
AC Milan, Inter second. Oh, dude, they're 1 point away. Oh, dude, the top 3 are, dude, AC Milan 55, Inter Milan 54, Napoli 53. Dude, it's a tight race.
Holy shit. Who's fourth?
Oh, actually, Inter Milan, it has one less game played right now. They're at 24 out of 25, so they could actually snag up ahead right now because they got a crazy goal difference. They have a plus 35 goal differential right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so So, I mean,
And then Bayern's obviously going to win that league.
yeah, let me check, though.
PSG's obviously going to win their league.
Um,
Spain, Real Madrid. It's kind of close, but Real Madrid should win it.
Let me check the Bundesliga table. Accept cookies. Bayern Munich is at 22 played, 52 points. Dortmund's in second at 46. Bayer Leverkusen are at 41. So, I mean, Bayern would have to have like a pretty rough season. But goal difference is 45. Jesus Christ, plus 45.
Bayern pretty much won that shit every year. I mean,
Well, it's because
last 8 years in a row.
what happens is Premier League loves to pick up young talent from Bundesliga. So RB Leipzig, Leverkusen, Dortmund always getting picked. Like the top teams are always getting picked by English team, and then Bayern Munich's always picking up players from Dortmund and Leipzig as well.
They don't have the revenue to pay these players. I know Dortmund, they're really okay with getting in a young player, developing him, and then selling him for big profits. You know what I mean? They're okay with that. but that's not a good thing. If you're like the second best team in the league, it's not a good thing that you're like a selling club and you're okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. Let's look at La Liga real quick. Real Madrid first place, 54 points. Sevilla's 50th.
Yeah.
Dude,
Sevilla's
where is Barcelona? Oh, they're in fourth.
Barcelona haven't been doing too hot this year.
One game down there at 39. That's still so much. Still like 13, 12 points. Atletico Madrid's fifth. Real Betis is third. Real Sociedad sixth. Yeah, let's see PSG's French league table. So yeah, PSG 59 points, Marseille 46, Nice 42, Strasbourg 41. So PSG's basically got that. So German league, French league, and I'd probably say the English league are so far looking like the top teams are already set in place. But the other league, Serie A probably looks like the most interesting league to watch at the moment, honestly, because they're so close right now.
Yeah, that's the closest one right now. La Liga's been really entertaining this year. A lot of up and downs.
Yeah. Other than that, World Cup, it's going to be later in Qatar. It's getting kind of late, so we'll wrap this up real quick. Finish up on the World Cup. It's going to be later in Qatar. I heard they're using slave labor and there's dead people in the tombs. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that for a fact. But I heard that. And they're doing it in November instead of the summer because it's going to be too fucking hot. Which is weird why they're doing that. Yeah, workers are dying. It's a poor country, but the reason these poor countries want to do the
country.
You cut out. You're fucking.
I said Qatar is not a poor country, bro.
I mean, you know what I mean. They probably got like a super base wealth of money, but like the populace of like 98% is probably poor as shit. Living in slums. I mean, I might just be talking shit. I'm not. I don't know.
I feel like the World Cup draw is fucking rigged, bro. Because it was Russia, then it's Qatar.
The U.S. gets it in 2026.
Yeah, I know. But
if we even fucking.
It was Africa, and then it was Brazil.
You know how embarrassing it'd be if we don't even make it into the 2026 World Cup as America and we're hosting it.
Qualified, right?
Is that how that works? Do you automatically qualify?
If you're hosting, you're automatically qualified.
Oh shit.
You're in Group A.
We're in Group A this year?
No, not in 2022. In 2026, when we host, we'll be in Group A.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't know that. That's actually interesting. Over for you.
But who's your favorite to win the World Cup?
I honestly haven't been keeping up too much with international, but I mean, obviously, if you go with the big names, you got fucking France, Germany, Argentina, Brazil. I mean, obviously, USA is not going to win what I want them to, yes. Probably not going to happen.
I'm going to predict Belgium to win it.
Yeah, De Bruyne has been solid as fuck. Lukaku's kind of stepping back into it. You got the Thorgan Hazard. I mean, Eden Hazard's been kind of washed, yeah. Let's see. Ali Makbohout, an Israeli, is actually the top scorer so far for the World Cup Qatar qualifiers. 14 goals. And then Kyle Larin. Oh, shit. Kyle Larin used to play for the Orlando Magic. Or the fucking Orlando Lion. What was it called? Orlando City. Jeez. Let's see. I want to see qualify. So 15 teams have already qualified, it says. So it's 210 teams, 15 have qualified. 800 matches. Jesus Christ. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, American Samoa, Andorra, Angola, Anguilla, Antigua, blah, blah. Argentina, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Bahamas, Belgium, Belarus, Bangladesh, Belize. Well, this is more than 15 countries. Oh, that's just, there's a Q next to the name. Okay, never mind. So the ones that were actually qualified are Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, so far, Croatia, Denmark, England, France, Germany. It says Iran. I don't know. the Iran Republic, Korea Republic. Let's see, Netherlands. So obviously, like the big names, Qatar is obviously there. Serbia, the ones you're gonna see more often. Spain, Switzerland. USA is not qualified yet, but
They should. Them in Canada, right?
yeah, us in Canada should. So the next qualifiers are gonna be the 17th of March. Let's see, just when's USA's next qualifier game? If there is anymore. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I'd have to look more. I've been kind of looping soccer, but maybe I don't know. Maybe Italy. Italy's got a bunch of young kids like Vlahovic coming
Yeah,
up,
they got.
Donnarumma.
They're in the qualifiers. They're gonna have to beat Portugal. Them and Portugal,
One and
either
two gotta
Portugal
go.
or Italy won't be in the World Cup.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they're gonna have to play each other.
This is
Well,
gonna be Messi and Ronaldo's last chance to get a World Cup title, probably.
Yeah, or like probably like 90% chance of that. You never know with Ronaldo; he could still be playing when he's fucking 41.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean he is some type of built different ghost.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get this wrapped up. Thank you so much, Noah. I haven't posted in a while, but needed a good flow to go at this. Needed a good episode to reach it back up. Perfect time to get some sports talk in. Talk quite a lot about the UFC, some football, soccer, etc. Olympics, you know. Pretty good. Thank you for everyone who...
We did talk about a lot of sports. My bad.
No, we did. I mean, it was a good thing to do because I mean, it's in the air. UFC back to like yesterday. Olympics continuously going out throughout the week and days. You got fucking Super Bowl today. I mean, it's fucking jam packed in America for sports. If you're listening, and if you are listening, please don't forget to subscribe to Bears World Podcast. Share, like, and subscribe. We do also have a YouTube link tree. Everything will be in the description. Thank you so much. And any last words, my friend?
Support Bear, man. He really loves doing this shit, and I feel like his episodes are super entertaining. Maybe I have a little bit of bias, but honestly, I think there's a wide variety of topics that's talked about on here. It's pretty unbiased, so keep watching,
even if it is biased, just listen to his biased view and just listen to me. You'll eventually learn. You'll learn who I am, and you'll like me. You'll like me eventually.
Still listen to it, okay?
Hopefully, I love you guys. But anyways, appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys. Be safe out there. Kick some ass and do whatever makes you happy. Make people smile. Goodbye.